This is John Paul Rice. Some people call me. Gotta give a quick shout out to Julie from Wished Upon a Vlog because I saw this topic on her channel. It's old, but just came to me now. And apparently, Terminator Dark Fate is gonna be political. It's gonna be admittedly political, not just political. Let's talk about it. Here's the article. So here we see the article, and this thing is pretty old. This is from 2018. I can't remember seeing this become a topic, and I think it's worth talking about. Natalia Reyes confirms Terminator Dark Fate is political. So, Natalia Reyes plays Danny. I don't know the exact storyline or what she does yet, but she plays the character who I guess is being protected by the new Terminator or something like that, and she states that this is going to be political. Now, it's not political in the way I'm used to criticizing, where it's social justice warriors, gender politics, maybe racial politics, things like that. But it's political more of like the American border situation, and I don't know so much about it because I've been in Japan 14 years. But I still don't like when there's deliberate political things that should be meant for the news outlets, serious conversations, put in movies like the Terminator. I will say this. I don't really have a side about immigration from Mexico in the United States. I don't know enough about it at this point. I'm not living in America. I'm not in the society. I'm not seeing what's going on. So I'm really just pleading the fifth here, guys. It's just the way it is. I'm in Japan and we've got our own issues here with everything. But I will say this. It's something that's happening in the United States, and if that's going to be in the movie as kind of like a backdrop or scenery or something that's going on, and it's taking place in the United States around modern times when this issue would still be going, I'm kind of cool with that because that's actually what's going on, as long as it doesn't come in the forefront to interrupt the story as a political statement they're trying to make. Like I've been saying with SJW politics and woke politics, where it interrupts the story. Where we have in the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer something like, well, we should call this X-Women. Haha, in your face. If it's just something that's in the scenery, then I guess that's okay, but let's see what she has to say. Let's see what she says. The truth is that no longer talk much about the details of the characters. I want to keep the surprise for the public. What is known is that I am Daniela Ramos, a Mexican girl, very young, and I entered this saga of Terminator that is going to have a lot of Latin flavor. It is going to touch many issues of the border and what is happening in the United States. So that's what she was talking about it being political. We don't know to what extent. And as a reminder, it's been pointed out that Terminator 2, or I think Terminator 1, I can't remember, I think it was 2, yes, it was 2, ended in Mexico. So that's kind of a traditional place to have a Terminator movie, so I'm totally cool with that. I'm just kind of skeptical about how much is going to be real life pushing your face about it and using this movie as activism, and how much is going to be meant to fit in the Terminator world. It is a very current movie, but keeping the essence of Terminator and this whole issue of how we are increasingly at the mercy of all technology and machines. On how Natalia feels America will be represented. In the saga of Terminator, as America feels well represented, I guess they mean, will America be well represented, or does America feel well represented? Yes, totally. I think they're trying to get away from the stereotype and cliche and show real people, people with whom we can feel identified. On the expansion of Latino roles, moving away from stereotypes and overall representation in Hollywood. There's that word again, representation. Do you see growth of roles for Latinos in Hollywood? Sure, I think it's part of what's going on, and it's precisely that having a much larger Latino market in the United States begins to have a greater representation in movies, and in all the cultural aspects there is much more important Latin presence that is also part of the film that I'm telling, and that obviously a good opportunity not only for me but for all Latinos in the United States. If they have an accent, that accent goes for anybody. Could be a white dude from Ireland, could be a Latino dude, could be a black dude, but if they have an accent, I think that accent should fit the role. For example, I don't like when you have sci-fi movies when it's obviously an earthly accent. Like, oh, that guy's from England. Oh, yeah, she's got a Spanish accent. I like it when the accents kind of fit the world. So I don't like to have like earthly accents in sci-fi stuff. I think that's just kind of an objective fact that makes the movies better for suspension of disbelief and making you feel like you're actually in that world. So this is different, is Earth, but I'm mainly talking about things that aren't Earth, Star Wars, Star Trek, stuff like that, I don't know, just saying, keep accents in mind. Not any particular accent, but yeah, just saying, if you guys can follow me on that one. So that's it. As far as my thoughts on this movie, I think, I don't know, it's so tough. Like, every time I see something, I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty good. Then I hear some things that people mostly point out that I didn't think about myself, and I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. So even with like The Last Jedi and Game of Thrones, I like to watch something without going into the mindset that it's bad before I watch it, but I listen to everyone's points with an open mind, and whoever makes the best points, whether it's good or bad, I tend to gravitate with, obviously using my own logic on it. And some people have pointed out that Terminator here doesn't quite look like it's going to measure up to the quality of the other Terminators. And yeah, I'll remain skeptical, but again, I'm pleading the fifth. I'm playing the middle here. I'm playing the middle a lot these days because I don't feel so strongly about stuff. I feel strongly about Star Wars and its core concepts and things like that. Aside from that, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I hope this is good. Even with Marvel, we see Marvel having these pieces of wokeness, and DC with Batwoman having these pieces of wokeness. So it's like, man, I'll see it and then I'll tell you guys how it is. So it's tough to judge things beforehand these days. Really tough. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think of that. I'm doing shout-outs, special thanks, things like that. Drop a comment if you're new here, watching up to this point. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Click subscribe, and I will see you next time.